thought-provoking.
And now, for a little something to keep you company on your drive. You're tuned in to Mile Talks, where every mile has a story. Tonight, let me share a tale of mystery and rediscovery, something that might resonate as you journey down your own road. The story begins with Elias, a man who lived out of his car. His life was a collection of starts and stops, detours and dead ends. He wasn't running from anything in particular, just trying to outrun the feeling of being stuck. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Elias found himself on a stretch of road that seemed endless. No signs, no towns, just the fading light and his own thoughts for company. He was almost out of gas when he spotted something odd. A small roadside stall, lit by a single lantern. The light was warm and inviting, standing out against the encroaching darkness. There was no one else around, no other cars in sight, yet here was this stall, as if waiting just for him. Elias stopped, curiosity pulling him out of the car. Behind the stall stood an old woman with silver hair that caught the lantern's glow. She didn't greet him right away, just watched him with a quiet smile, like she already knew him. "Looking for something?" she finally asked. Elias hesitated. What was he looking for? A purpose? A plan? Or just a way to feel like he wasn't drifting? He shrugged. "I guess I am," he admitted. Without another word, the woman reached beneath the stall and pulled out a small brass compass. It was simple, no decorations, no markings, except for the needle that wavered under the glass. "Take it," she said, placing it gently in his hand. "It won't point you north, but it will lead you home." Elias furrowed his brow. "Home? I don't have one." The woman smiled knowingly. "Then it'll take you to the places that feel like it." Something about her words stuck. Maybe it was her tone, calm yet certain, or the weight of the compass in his palm. Whatever it was, Elias decided to take it. He didn't ask how much it cost. She never mentioned money. And as he turned back toward his car, the woman simply said, "Trust it, even when it doesn't make sense." At first, the compass didn't seem magical. It didn't spin wildly or glow. It just sat on his dashboard, the needle trembling now and then. But one morning, while parked at a gas station, the needle steadied. It pointed left, not toward the highway, but down a quiet country road. Something about it felt right. So he followed. That road led him to a small diner that looked like it hadn't changed in decades. Inside, he ordered coffee, and as he sat down, someone called his name. "Elias, is that really you?" It was an old friend from high school, someone he hadn't seen in years. They talked for hours, reminiscing about simpler times. That conversation reminded Elias of the dreams he once had, dreams he'd left behind. The next time the compass pointed, it led him to a public library in a town he'd never heard of. There, he found a book he'd been searching for since he was a teenager. It wasn't just the book itself. It was what it sparked in him, the stories he used to write, the way his imagination used to run wild. He realized he hadn't written a single word in years. Each destination wasn't a place, it was a moment, a reminder. Months passed, and Elias started to feel something he hadn't in years. Direction, not the kind a map or GPS could give, but a pull toward the life he'd forgotten he wanted. The compass seemed to sense what he needed, guiding him not to destinations, but to people, memories, and opportunities that reignited his spirit. But the compass wasn't always clear. One day, it pointed toward a long abandoned park. Elias nearly turned back, thinking it must be broken. But he stayed. He sat on a weathered bench, listening to the wind rustling the trees. It was there he met a stranger, an artist sketching quietly. They struck up a conversation, and that stranger became one of Elias's closest friends, someone who would later inspire him to take up writing again. The most remarkable thing about the compass wasn't that it pointed him somewhere new, it was that it brought him back to himself. One evening, months later, Elias found himself driving back on that same stretch of road. He searched for the stall, for the woman who'd given him the compass, but it was gone. No trace of it remained, as if it had never been there. The compass still sits on his dashboard, not because he needs it anymore, but as a reminder. A reminder that home isn't a single place. It's the connections we make, the moments that shape us, and the courage to trust the journey. And that's the story of the traveler's compass. Maybe it's just a tale, or maybe there's something in it for all of us. Sometimes the answers we're searching for aren't ahead of us. They're within us, waiting to be rediscovered. You're listening to Mile Talks, where every mile brings a story worth telling. If you enjoyed this one, be sure to subscribe and join us for the next journey. Until then, keep driving, keep dreaming, and let the road lead you to where you truly belong.